Hey guys, this is Seth from ComingOutTarot. Just realized that window is really, really bright. I'm going to move it over, which is weird for how I write because I'm left-handed. Anyway, I'm here to chat about my year ahead spread. You're going to see some posts about this coming up, but I wanted to let you know I'm working through it for myself, and I've got it laid all out here, so I'm going to show you real quick. Just put this around for a second. There we go. Oh, and some Halloween things, fun Halloween things. So this is the spread. It looks like this, kind of like the clock. You can see it's got top part there, starts at January, subsequent months, all the way around. And then once I get that shuffled and all laid out, planned out, then I start to go through the details of it. And this is similar to what would happen if you were sitting down with me and going through your own year ahead spread. And if that's helpful, if it's exciting, if it's interesting to you, hit that like button and I'm going to tell you some more about it. The thing that I do first, that I like to do, is actually first get a sense of like what's here, what's surrounding all of this stuff. What are the general themes before I delve into the detail. So the first thing I did is I took my little book here and I just write down the card for the month. I've got a picture of it for myself for later, but I'm writing down the month, the card that I pulled, the number of the card, because the numbers are important to me, and then I write down the element, because the elements are also important to me. So I just have a little catalog of what all of that is. Then I start to do I start with the math, and then I'm going to do the interpretation. So my question for myself was, what do I need to know about Coming Out Tarot in the next year in order for my business to be successful? And so now that I've got all those pulled, I started then categorizing some of this information so I can look at it a little bit further. So you can see I have the suits here, the number of suits that I pulled, and then the actual number, including, like in here, it's the father instead of the king, even though it's a little bit different. So I have the numbers, so I can take a look at, I had 2 wands, 2 cups, 5 swords, 1 stone, 2 majors. So what does that really mean for me? Well, when I break it down into the suits, I can see what kind of general energy I'm looking at for the year. So I'm looking at swords as the major energy for the year, which tells me a couple things. One, I just had to write something down because I thought of something. One, it tells me I've got this elemental energy of air for the year. So first, a lot of stuff going on up here. I got to focus on, or I'm going to be focusing on my thoughts, my ideas, working through concepts. There's going to be a lot of brain work, knowledge work, sitting at the desk and thinking about stuff kind of work, versus actually materializing things. And in fact, stones, the material aspect of all of this, the financial aspect, I have created and produced something aspect, has only got 1 card, though that card is a 6, and for me that means actually having some positive financial outcome, even though there isn't a lot of stones here. The other thing that I notice is because it's primarily a swords energy, that also means I'm going to be fighting. There's going to be a lot of fight here. There's going to be a lot of effort put in, not only just mentally, but in order to do what I need to do, I'm going to have some challenges. And what's interesting to me is that they're successive, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it jumps way over into the Father of Stones, who is, for me, an idealized version of myself. It's the aspiration I have of where I'd like to get to, because I often appear as the Son of Swords. So to have the Father of Swords be here, I think is really interesting in a sword energy year. What that makes me think of is I've got this rudimentary concept or rudimentary state where I'm battling things that are kind of a lower class, a lower caste. They're more mundane than up here, so I'm kind of in the weeds, really. I'm talking this out as I'm thinking about it. I'm kind of in the weeds. I'm kind of stuck in these day-to-day things that aren't really advanced. And that's okay. Good to know. I'm going to be in these day-to-day concepts, ideas that aren't super advanced. Maybe I've been trying to be too advanced and I really just need to get back to the basics, which is fine. That's really helpful. Things I need to write down. Get back to the basics. Let me draw a little line here from my source so I know where that came from. When I take notes on this thing, I like to get a little creative with my notes. You'll see I have another one here. Sometimes they're really organized, and I mean they'll be organized, but they're also like they have movement. You know what I mean? So that's the very first thing I noticed. Lots of air energy stuck in my head. Getting back to the basics. I've got some fighting to do. I've got to tread through some stuff, use my weapons in order to achieve what I want. The other thing that's interesting is there's only 2 majors in here, so I find them in January and in June. So in July. January, February, March, April, May, June. Yeah, January and July. 12 and 6 on the clock. So they're right opposite each other. And what's interesting is that they're going backwards. So I go from 20, from Aeon, to 19, the Sun, which for me means getting back on the right path. I've been going a certain way. I know I'm called to do this work, but I need to get back on the right path. So, and that starts to happen in July. I need to write this down too. Called to this work, getting, these are the things that you might experience when you're going through a reading with me about the year ahead. Right path. And I'm going to expect you to write things down just like I am, because when I say things, you're going to be like, oh yeah, wait, I get it. Or I don't get it, I need more information. And then we're going to get more information. But these are the clues, concepts, ideas, theories that need to be a part of your year ahead reading so you can get all of the insights you need and the activities you need and the confirmations you need in order to know, yes, this is where I need to be. Or I get how this is a part of my life, but I don't like the way it's going and I want to change it. So what do I do? How do I change the outcome of where I am in this coming year? And then we can talk about that too, because then I would lay down some additional cards about where you needed some more insight. And this spread starts to get full and cluttered of cards and organized bits of information and activities and little insights into why things are the way they are, so that you can make the best choices you need to make in order to have the most successful outcome for your 2019. So this is just the overview, like the beginning. I haven't even delved into each card. And that's why when you look at the reading, you'll see that it's also 90 minutes. Because first, we just get through this general stuff and we kind of look at the numbers and we kind of figure out what's out here, what the general energies are, what the spiritual lessons are that we're going to learn. So for example, having that 19 and 20 from the majors, if I take the quintessence of that, which is adding the numbers together, I get the Hanged Man and the Empress, so I get 12 and 3. So my guiding spiritual journey, overarching spiritual journey for 2019 has to do with the Hanged Man and the Empress, which is for me laws around acceptance and love, which are pretty heavy subjects. You'd think you'd have it down by the time you're 43, but apparently there's more lessons to learn. So I've got more to learn around, and I'm going to draw another line here for myself so that I can see it amongst all the other lines. And I'm going to draw it with a little heart so you can see. There's my little heart coming from my spiritual journey. Here's the stuff I was saying about those two cards down here, 19 and 20. And then here's the get back to the basics, and that's coming from the swords. But down here, law of acceptance. I missed spell check. And love for 2019. I might need some colored pens. Okay, so that's just the beginning. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to sit down with myself and I'm going to go through each of these cards and figure out what they mean in relationship to my question, which is about my business and how it's going to go in 2019 and what steps I need to take to be successful. So these should be all the steps that are related to how to be successful or what's going to be a part of that success. And then I can make some choices after that to either get some more insight by getting a few more cards around a card, or getting the action steps I need to be successful in actually achieving what's going on that month, or shifting the outcome to something I'd rather have happen during the course of that month. And then I'm going to do some more planning. So this is a mini break in my day to go through this and be thoughtful about how I'm going to start pulling my calendar together and what you're going to start seeing as someone who is interested in Coming Out Tarot during the course of the next year. I hope this is helpful. I hope it's insightful. If it is, and if it's inspiring you to get your own year ahead reading, you can find out about that over at ComingOutTarot.com. I'm also going to update the description so it has the link in there so you can go find it. But if you head over to ComingOutTarot.com/shop, you'll find it in there. It's also on the front page. Really easy to find because it's time. By the way, if you're already signed up for my newsletter, you probably saw a coupon for 10% off your own year ahead reading. If you aren't already a part of my newsletter, I'm going to be providing that coupon during the month of November. All you have to do is be on my newsletter to get it. And you can book any time between the reading, in between now and January. But the coupon will only be available through the end of November. So it's about a month and a half left if you're interested. And then we just get the reading schedule for you between now and January. So thanks everybody. I'll see you all later.